I'm not a silent spectator, but I'm part of it, part of the game, and ready to pay the price, whatever be it.
We pray, O Lord, that the soul of Stan, your servant and priest, whom you honored with sacred office, while he lived in this world, may exult forever.
Father Stan Swamy died after 8 months in prison, conditions that exacerbated his Parkinson's. He was one of the jailed human rights advocates, also known as the Bhima Koregaon 16. The story of the evidence against them is amazing and bizarre, and is worth going over. After the first arrests in June of 2018, police began to leak sensational electronic evidence, letters found on the activist's laptop, which showed their links to Maoist guerrillas. The most shocking letter even proposed a plot to assassinate Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The letters were strangely explicit. Conspirators used each other's real names instead of aliases, as Maoists typically do. They openly detailed requirements for arms and planned attacks without using code words. The correspondence also implicated Congress friends and leaders, and a range of civil society groups and youth leaders like Jignesh Mevani and Umar Khalid. In short, the letters outlined an urban Naxal ecosystem, which neatly matched the right wing's projection of the grand anti-national conspiracy. Armed guerrillas, human rights activists, opposition parties, Dalit and Muslim student leaders, all in the bag.
2 days after they are arrested, an urban Naxal letter detailing a Rajiv-type incident and an assassination plot against the Prime Minister emerges.
The specific letter that plotted another Rajiv Gandhi-type incident against the Prime Minister was leaked as an exclusive to Republic TV. According to the channel, this letter was recovered from the laptop of Rona Wilson, one of the first of the BK-16 to be arrested. Using these letters, police imprisoned the rest of the accused. Sudha Bhardwaj, who had to pass her lawyer a handwritten note, called the evidence against her a totally concocted letter fabricated to criminalize me and other human rights lawyers, activists and organizations. Some of the activists have suffered badly in jail. Stan Swamy, aged 84, was reduced to agony by Parkinson's. Then he tested positive for COVID-19. He pleaded for bail, but the NIA relentlessly opposed it, saying there was no conclusive proof of his ailments. Still, he died of them. The others have been in limbo, some for over 3 years, which is strange, given the flagrant plot to assassinate the Prime Minister and all the evidence already splashed across national television. Yet instead of a swift conviction, the trial has not even begun. No witnesses have been examined. The court hasn't even taken cognizance of the charge sheet, which it has to do before charges are framed or the trial begins. So here's what the legal defense team did instead of waiting forever. In July 2020, they contacted Arsenal Consulting, a US digital forensics firm which has done analysis for serious cases, including the Boston Marathon bombing. Mark Spencer, the director at the firm, was skeptical at first. A case with such a high profile wasn't likely to turn up evidence tampering, but they agreed to look into it nonetheless. The defense team put together electronic copies of Rona Wilson and Surinder Gudling's devices and emails on hard drives, which were conveyed by a chain of safe custody to the American Bar Association and by the ABA to Arsenal's headquarters near Boston. Arsenal verified that the data were intact by matching hash values or digital fingerprints on the forensic images of the laptop and thumb drive from when those images were first obtained and when they reached the firm. They then spent over 300 hours on Wilson's data alone. What they uncovered was one of the most serious cases involving evidence tampering they had ever encountered. A nearly 2-year time span during which an attacker had access to the activist's laptop and used it for surveillance and incriminating document delivery. According to the report, Rona Wilson's computer was compromised on June 13, 2016 after he opened an attachment sent by someone using Vara Vara Rao's email, which had also been compromised. According to Arsenal Consulting, opening the document, a decoy within a RAR archive file named anothervictory.rar, was part of a chain of events which led to the installation of the NetWire remote access Trojan on Wilson's computer. NetWire is a commercial malware or Trojan that allows attackers to log keystrokes, take screenshots, and to upload and download files. Arsenal decrypted NetWire's logs on Wilson's computer and found activity from 2016 until before Wilson's computer was seized by the police. The attacker was making their last changes on Wilson's computer at 4:50 p.m. on April 16, 2018, before the Pune police arrived to raid the house at 6 a.m. on the 17th. Arsenal Consulting released a new report on Surinder Gudling's computer. They concluded that the same attacker infiltrated Gudling using emailed malware on February 29, 2016 after 2 failed attempts when Gudling didn't open the attachment. Arsenal could track precisely how the malware moved deep into the system, executing scripts and creating hidden folders, which held the incriminating emails recovered by the Pune police. The report is emphatic. These documents were delivered by Netwire and not by other means. On Wilson's laptop too, at least 10 incriminating letters were placed in a hidden folder, after which the attacker made changes to cover their footsteps. The Arsenal report says there is no indication these files or the folder had ever been opened on his laptop. This is the nature of the evidence for which the state has imprisoned the Bhima Koregaon 16, including Stan Swamy. In February, after Arsenal's first report debunked the evidence on Wilson's computer, defense lawyers rushed to move the High Court, but to no avail. In the 4 months since then, Stan Swamy grew increasingly ill, contracted COVID in prison, begged the court for interim bail so he could go home, had a heart attack, and was put on a ventilator. His next bail hearing was scheduled for July 6th.
To receive instant updates on all videos from The Wire, click the subscribe button and hit the bell icon. Pay to support independent journalism. Click the link in the description and choose the amount you want to pay.